Hey, welcome back to the channel. Back in the garage today. Don't mind this. I've seen other YouTubers put these everywhere else. I don't know. I don't know why you put it on your hat. Maybe it works. I'm going to try it out. All I do know is really annoying seeing it in my periphery, and I don't know how long it's going to last there. Anyways, so Indian motorcycles have been sold. Somewhat, I guess. And there's a lot of people worried about that. But anyways, let's get into it. So I am an Indian motorcycle fan. I actually, if anyone's followed this channel at all, I did have an Indian Roadmaster before I got the CVO Limited. I do like Indian. They have some pretty cool bikes. And one of the only reasons why I traded in for this was because it wasn't a Harley, which is a dumb reason. However, I absolutely love this bike and I have no regrets whatsoever. And that might be a bike that's going to be in the garage for a long time. But anyways, I digress. So I've been watching YouTube videos as well as articles on the Indian motorcycle, or sorry, Polaris selling their share into Indian motorcycles. However, they didn't sell all of it. They do hold a stake in it still, and it is going through. It's a private equity firm, Carolwood LP. That's pretty good that I still remember that, because I did do a little bit of research on this. And yeah, they're selling a big share of it. It hasn't been divulged yet because I think it goes through like October 28th. I guess they'll get more information there. But what I wanted to come on and talk about actually is whether it's a good thing. So like I said, I did have an Indian motorcycle. And one of the things that you do find out when you join the Indian motorcycle group of, there's the Harley group and the Indian group. Well, when you find out, or when you join the Indian motorcycle grouping, and you start talking to people, there is a lot of people that are very jaded about Polaris. Not necessarily Indian, but Polaris, because they were Victory motorcycle fans. And they feel like they were left high and dry by Polaris, going with Indian and just scrapping Victory altogether. Victory does have some really cool bikes, and it's coming up to 10 years now, and that's why I haven't really pursued. I've seen a couple come up for sale, but they're still pretty expensive, and I do worry about parts, because I guess parts are only available up and for 10 years after. So I don't know, maybe in the future I'll think about getting one, but right now that still worries me. And now with this sale here, a lot of people are worried that Polaris is doing the same thing. To be honest, there are some drawbacks of private equity. Like I said, I did do some research on this, and in the United States, I think 20% of businesses that are bought by a private equity go bankrupt within 10 years. So it's, I think it's something like it increases by 10% whether you'll go insolvent or whatever in the United States. So it does add a little risk to it. However, this company, this private equity, hasn't had any of that. They're still relatively new. 2014, I think they came into existence, or 2004 or 2014, whatever. I'll put it up somewhere. So they haven't had any, but they haven't been in this type of market before. They're usually restaurants and realty. So like most of you who are fans of Indian motorcycles, I was worried when I read this. I thought it was a good thing at first, because I'm like, oh, Indian's going to be a standalone company. Yeah, Polaris is going to own a little bit of stake, but it's going to get rid of that stupid thing people say is like, you're not driving an Indian, you're driving a Polaris. And it's like, who cares? It's an American company. Isn't that what it's all about? It's an American motorcycle. But regardless, yeah, it gets rid of that part of it. I'm sure there'll still be people that will still say it because they do own a stake in it, but regardless. But then I was worried about the private equity. It's like, I'm worried that it might go insolvent and, go bankrupt, and, we're going to lose another motorcycle company. However, what really brings to mind is who they're bringing on as the guy who's going to run it. I've trying to remember the guy's name, Mike Mike Kennedy, that's what it is. I can't believe I remembered that. I mean, it's only one of the famous names in the United States, but whatever. Mike Kennedy's going to be running it, and he has, I think it was 30 years of industry experience. 26 of them were at Harley Davidson, as well as I think he had a 2-year stint as the CEO and president of Vance and Hines. So I do see a lot of exhaust coming your way for the the motorcycles, for the Indian motorcycles, because he's got to use some of his power to get those guys to make more stuff for it. Because that was one of the big things with Indian, was you couldn't, like, aftermarket stuff, there's not a lot for it. It's slowly building up, and I think a guy like this, that he could use his connections, to get more parts out there for the Indian motorcycle community. So I am being very optimistic about this because, like I said, one of the big things that you see with Harley Davidson, whenever they change their CEO, like the old guy and now the new guy coming in, none of them seem to have motorcycling experience, and that's always a big knock on them. Yeah, they know how to run companies, but it's not the same company. And to me, the guy that Indian is hiring, he's a motorcycle guy. He's got lots of experience, especially from Harley. It's kind of like, why didn't Harley look at having this guy come in? But that's beside the point. So I think Indian is actually in good hands here, and I think this is going to be a good thing for Indian motorcycle and motorcycling as a whole, because I think the better the competition, the better everyone gets. But yeah, that's what I think. There are some things to be worried about here. Other things that I don't think need to be worried about. Ultimately, I think it's actually going to be a good thing for Indian motorcycle to have a guy running it that actually knows motorcycling. And Polaris is still kind of backing it because they do have a stake in it. So they still have the money. They have a guy that's running it. I think it's going to make Harley Davidson better. So I personally think it's going to be a good thing, but what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be a good thing for Indian motorcycle, bad thing? And more importantly, this thing, is it annoying to you guys as it is to me? Because I just want to bat it away. Anyways, until next time, later.